Hello and welcome developers, my name is Shay and this is another episode of Shay Develops. In this video we're going to be building a website rather quickly using Bootstrap version 4.5, and with version 5 just around the corner, if you have wanted to go ahead and create a video to get those people who haven't ever used Bootstrap kind of a crash course and what to expect and how quickly you can throw a site together with Bootstrap. So we're going to be going to getbootstrap.com and using their documentation to basically just kind of copy and paste a whole website, at least a framework of the initial framework of right into this index.html page that we have opened up right here. If you haven't caught one, I went ahead and created a Bootstrap demo directory and put created an index.html code. Don't worry about the VS Code part. That is just because I'm using this thing over here called a live server, so that way whenever I make a change here, it immediately updates already to the browser. And before we guys go any further, I just want to go ahead and say this now because I know a lot of you guys don't reach the end of the video. If you guys are enjoying what you're doing or have any questions or whatever, send me a comment or put a comment down below the description. Like the video, subscribe, whatever it is you guys want to do. Share some love. I would greatly appreciate it, so I can make some more of these videos and know that these videos are actually impacting somebody. So if you guys could do that for me, I would be super stoked and really appreciative. But let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is, like I said, go to getbootstrap.com. If you don't know what it is, you can just Google it, or just that's literally the page there. So we have getbootstrap.com, and now we can just go to get started and scroll down. They have a nice little starter template for us, like a little hello world. We can copy that and then go back to our Visual Studio Code and paste it in. Make that a little bigger. It's not working. Oh, there you go. All right, make that a little bigger. Now we can actually get rid of the hello world part or whatever. We'll just call this Bootstrap Demo and get rid of that as well. But with this live server here, this should totally work. Let me pull this up here. No, if we don't need to go back to here. We will go to localhost 8080. No, I believe it's actually not 8080. It is 5501. I didn't mean to not go live. All right, here we go. All right, so now we have something open in Microsoft Edge, whatever, that's fine. Here's our Bootstrap demo. I'm actually going to copy this and put it over in Chrome instead. Let's go to Chrome. All right, there we go. Nice. So now we have this, and then we'll see our updates whenever we add it to the Bootstrap demo here. So the first thing we probably want to do is add some navigation, have like a hero image area, that kind of stuff. So, and we can do that pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and go back to Bootstrap. And let's get a navigation. So let's look up navbar. Components, nice. So we've got a component here, and let's see, scroll down. Let's just take this, this has got a brand. No, let's just take this top one right here. We'll copy it. We will go back here and paste all that in and save it. Let's see what happens to our page. Go back here and nice, we have our navigation already. And another awesome thing about this is the fact, like I said, it's responsive, so I can bring this down, and then now I get this nice hamburger menu that I can mess around with. Drop down actions that you can have access to, that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. You did that really quickly, but I don't like it to be light, so I want to change it. And so instead of this navbar light, I'm going to do navbar dark and BG dark as well. Save that. Reopen it up and see already before I don't even have to refresh it because of that live server. We have a dark navbar looking good. So now I want to make like a hero image kind of section right here, at least something I could put a hero image in. I don't have any images I'm going to be using in this video, but we can, like I said, at least show like kind of like a wireframe of an area. So let's do, it's called the Jumbotron. So grab the Jumbotron. We have this awesome Jumbotron. Now, so we have a Jumbotron regular and we have a fluid Jumbotron. Personally, I prefer the fluid Jumbotron. That way it takes up the whole screen real estate. So we'll just copy this little bit here. And then again, back to our Visual Studio Code. See how fast this is already getting put together? And now we got a fluid Jumbotron that we can, I don't know, let's make it BG info. And then, let's see here, that's a display 4. And let's do text white. And this is all coming from Bootstrap, those two classes that I just added. So that's some cool flavoring that Bootstrap allows us to do, is having these other classes that we can then throw on to where they make sense here and there, and have it change up the visibility a bit, because this is a front-end framework. So we have that. Go ahead and save it. Now let's bring back up our page, and boom, we have a nice Jumbotron. This is fluid Jumbotron. This is a modified Jumbotron, whatever. And great. So now we have this this area, this hero image area, and we can make this taller if we wanted to, just by adding more content, that kind of stuff. It'll change. So let's go back to index and say I wanted to double the amount of information that was on there. I could totally do that. Go back to it and see how it's already updated by itself, but that looks terrible, and even I, not a designer, think that I need to change that and fix it pronto. Alright, so Control Z, get rid of that. Alright, so now that we have those two sections, let's we need a bit of like a content area. So for that, we're going to bring out one of the staples of Bootstrap, and that's the their container and column, or excuse me, container and row and column classes that you can add to a div that structures out everything to where it's very fluid. It works with almost, you know, like any size, that you can make it work with any size screen that you need to, and very responsive. So let's go ahead and create a few of these, and I'm going to be using Emmet here. So if you're not really familiar with Emmet, it's pretty cool. So I want a container, and then I want another div below that that's going to be my row, and that's exactly what you think. So we have this whole container, that's this whole like block of section of the web page, and then we're going to dictate the, okay, I want a row in there. You can specify multiple rows, but now I want a row, so I want this to all kind of make sure that it stays in line with each other, unless there's just not enough room, and then it fluctuates. You'll see that all that in action here in a minute. But so I want a row, and then I want a column, and I'm trying to debate if I want that, if I want 3 columns or if one will just do for now. You know what? I think I'm going to do 3 columns. So times 3, and there we go. So that's also right there, guys, the power of Emmet. I think that's pretty freaking sweet. Now these columns with Bootstrap version 4.5, they you can add little tags to them like SN, like column small, that will change how they react to each other based off of the screen real estate and how much they're supposed to take over. So you can actually do like column 12, and because these rows are broken up into like 12 column sections. So by just specifying column, 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 I'm just saying, hey, separate these out in equal form across the row. So that's kind of how that works. But they just, like I said, you can dive a bit deeper, and I really suggest that you do, but we probably won't in this video. But now we have our div class container with our rows. We'll do, this is row 1. Copy that, paste, and then 2, 3, save it, and then now we want to go back. So now we have, this is row 1, 2, and 3. So again, though, let's make that a little smaller. Oh, it doesn't go any smaller than that. Well, I could inspect, and it's still stacking like that. Well, it shouldn't once we add the cards. So let's actually add some data, some content to it, and let's see how that modifies that in the very, very near future. All right, so, but main thing is we have a column. We have our, you know what? I am actually just going to throw a little bit of CSS on it so you guys can actually visually see the rows and columns. So we'll do the container rows and columns. So we'll do style equals border 1 pixel solid black, and we'll do that for the row, and we'll make it blue, and we'll do that for just one of the columns, and we'll make it green. All right, and let's go back. So now we can see our row, which is black, just you can barely see it, is going around this whole thing. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna update that just a little bit. So, and I'll make that 10 pixels, and this will do 10 pixels, and this will do 5 pixels. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so now that we have this is our container, the black, and this is the row, and then this is each individual column within this row. All right, so now we have that. It looks kind of bad, but that's how it works. So now if I wanted to change that to say like fill the whole screen, maybe I could do something where I, instead of container, I can do container fluid, save that, and then now my container spans the whole width of the way. But I don't actually want that, so I'm going to reverse it and go back to get rid of all these styles. We don't need this anymore. All right, so now we have our rows. Let's work with another Bootstrap. I don't know what they're called, but they're called cards, but they have another word for them. So let's go ahead and look that up. So we're going to go to Bootstrap, and Other components. There we go. Other components. And now we're going to grab this card and we'll copy it. And we're going to see these show up on our Bootstrap demo. So let's go ahead and go back to Visual Studio Code. And within these divs, I'm going to put in these cards here. And I'll clean up the code here in a second. Oh, jeez. There we go. There you go. That looks a bit better, at least for that. At least for that top one. I'm not going to necessarily worry about the rest of them. But now that we have these cards, we can go ahead and take a look and see how that updated our content. You notice it's not showing the images, but we could use maybe a site like Pixum. Pixum, which is pretty awesome if you've never heard of that. It allows you to just get a image of said size and add it to this image src slot right there. And have an image, bam, right there, ready to go. So that's pretty awesome, right? That's pretty cool, I think. All right, so let's check this out. Yeah, we have a little bit of issue with some overlapping there, but once this gets small enough to a smaller screen, it will actually, they will get one on top of the other, and I'm not 100% sure why it's not happening right now, but that should be the case. Maybe if I make this big, inspect, and make the, oh no, it's still doing it in that size too. That's interesting. Is it? Oh, it's probably because they're all on a row. Okay, okay. Let me fix it. Okay, so they each are in their own row. Yeah, but that shouldn't matter. Alright, shoot, I'm over here trying to troubleshoot this, and I've actually already built this, and oh, okay. Alright, so instead of just column, I want to tell these that I only want them to work if they're large. So if they're not large, I want them to break apart and not span the whole width. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So now we have here, it was refreshed again, and then I can make it smaller, and there we go. That's the content I was expecting right there. So it's not centering right at the moment, but you can make it center real easily. There's a lot of ways to do that with Bootstrap. Let's go ahead and go back to the code, and I'll show you how to center those cards. Yeah, this is already a 19-minute movie, so I'm going to go ahead and try and speed this up a little bit, but we're getting a lot further. Hopefully you guys are learning something. All right, so now I want to center the cards real quick. So we have, like I was talking about earlier, we have a lot of helper classes that we can use, and one of those is MX Auto, or MX-Auto, that allows us to center the card. And some other ones is I can give it a margin bottom of, let's say 3 between each card. So that way they're not like, whenever they do align, they're not stacked up on top of each other. And I want to get rid of the borders, so I can also do border 0 and get rid of that border there without having to specify one. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look, see what we've done. And now the first one is done, and it's got its border removed, and I'm sure the padding is there because you can see these are stacked up on top of each other. So that is working pretty awesome. Now once we pull that back out, we'll close this. It separates back out to the 3 that it can, because it has all the space that it needs. So let's go ahead and quickly finish centering those up by adding these 3 classes to our cards. Card here and card here. All right. Now the next thing we want to do, maybe we want like a newsletter sign up. Well, Bootstrap has forms as well. So let's go ahead and get a form from Bootstrap and throw it in our page. So we can do form, and we have another component form. We can just grab this and just grab this top one right here. I like that. And we're not going to create a login form. We just want, like, say we just want a newsletter form, right? Let's go to our Bootstrap demo, and let's bring this Jumbotron back. I like that idea. So let's go ahead and go back to Visual Studio Code, go up here to the Jumbotron after I paste this out, because I want to keep that form group. Let's go back to the Jumbotron here. Nice. And then paste that, and we'll do that. That all looks good. Container, fluid Jumbotron. We'll just do like newsletter sign up. Your information is safe with us, we promise. And then now grab the form, put it in here. Let's get rid of the checkbox and the password, and we'll just be looking for the email address. So like you might expect though, using a form has its own set of structure. We have a form group, and then we have our input. Well, actually we have the form and then the form group, that kind of stuff. So you have to follow a structure with basically any of this stuff, even with the cards and any basically component. There's going to be a structure to it. You just keep that in mind whenever you're messing around with this kind of stuff, because you might change something that you don't really intend to. It's pretty easy to do that. All right, so we have this. I won't want button primary. Let me get button info, and we'll do border white. That might work. I think there's a border white. All right, and let's see, check it out, see what we've done. All right, so now that's right. We have a newsletter sign up with a nice little submit button here that kind of matches that. And the last thing we want to do is a footer. Now, there's a couple different ways you could do this, but it really, just like I said, depends on what you want to do. You could use a navbar and stick it to the bottom, or use a div container, which is what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and go back to our Visual Studio Code, and we're going to make our footer here. So we do div dot container fluid this time, and then I want it to be bg dark, and then I want there to be you don't actually have to put div here, by the way. You can just put a dot, and it'll create a class with the div in it. It automatically goes to div within it. So container fluid bg dark. Let's do I have totally have a loss of direct. Okay, so we have a container, and then we got a row, and then we have columns. Let's do row, and then we'll do maybe 2 columns. Column larges times 2. See how that worked? Not logs, but whatever. Column larges. All right. So this first side, maybe I just want to put my address, and this is super cool name. Address, line 1, and then do, oh, messed that up right there. City, state, zip. And then it's probably going to look awesome, trust me. Maybe we had some icons or something we wanted to put on this right side over here. We would put them maybe in their own columns. We could just do div dot column dot sm for small. Make like 3 of them and do div1, say that's an icon, like a YouTube icon, Facebook, social media, something like that. You could probably grab those from, say, like Font Awesome. If you're not familiar with Font Awesome, it's pretty cool, to be perfectly honest. Div3, and actually, I think I have. Yeah, I have the CDN, so just like we're using the CDN for our Bootstrap Cdn, let's go ahead and use it and get our Font Awesome on. So we have this CDN right here. Take a moment, copy that if you need to, or just Google the Bootstrap Cdn, and then we can add some, say, Twitter, Facebook, icons, that kind of stuff. Jeez, I made a mess of this code. Alright, there we go. That's a bit better. Alright, let's see what we've made. I think it's going to be a little messed up, but we'll see what we got. And it absolutely is a little messed up, but we're getting closer. So first thing we need to do is remove the margin bottom from the Jumbotron. We don't need that anymore because we want these to be butted up together. The next thing is maybe make the text white, float these over here, and make them, instead of stacking, make them be in a row. So let's go ahead and update that real quick and let's make that happen. Alright, so we have a, we'll just do margin bottom 0, and that'll take care of the one problem we have. And we can do this address. Matter of fact, in this whole thing, we'll just do text white, and that should make that at least readable. And now I want to float right, and this is all from Bootstrap, nothing that I've created myself. This column, so I'll have one column on one side, and then one column on the other. And then let's see how this goes. Wanted to make these a little bigger, so I might have to create a custom CSS class to do that, or I could maybe use like display 4, which might look awesome, I promise, or it's probably gonna look terrible. Whatever. So be it. All right, let's go ahead and see what we got here. Nice, cool images, by the way. And it's close. It's close. These are not stacked the way I want to, but that's absolutely okay. At least they're big and at least readable now. So let's go back one more time to Bootstrap. And so let's actually get rid of these other columns. And let's see what happens here. And there we go. That's a bit better, but now they're not like as big as we want. So let's go back once more. And let's make everything display 4. All right. And sorry if you can hear my chair squeaking. I desperately need a new one. Oh, one last thing. It didn't float any of this stuff right like it was supposed to. That is a bummer. Let's figure out why that's not working. Right, because it said float right on this column. You know what? Instead of doing it here, let's do div dot float right, and grab these and put them in it. That should hopefully fix that problem right there. There we go. So now they're over here pushed on the right. You can make these links or something like that. There you guys go. That is a web page built using Bootstrap. Like I said, and Bootstrap goes a lot deeper than what I just showed you guys. But the awesome thing is the fact that it's responsive. It looks halfway decent, and it didn't take me, besides the footer, it didn't take me that long to actually put all this stuff together. So, and hopefully, guys, though, you learned something. Fix the footer and tell me what you did in the comments. Super cool of you. Until then, guys, like I said, I already told you, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification icon, tell your friends, tell you whoever who's wanting to learn how to code, learn how to build websites, want to change a career, whatever it is. Start here, guys. I really appreciate it. All right, so until then, though, you guys are amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.